Dope. Awesome. Let's get going. So welcome to the Yang Gang Phase 2 Moving Humanity Forward working title to be updated tonight Sunday meeting. We've got a very packed schedule for you all. So overview of what's going on. We're going to talk about the format of this meeting and meetings going forward. An overview for new folks. We're going to vote for our new name. We're going to have a name tonight. Yay! Go over our volunteer code of conduct briefly. Like I'll show you how to find it. Reports from our working groups, our coalition spotlight, which is Blair tonight, interim board updates. Phone banking is starting this week, so we'll go over that, and then our announcement of our name. So we've got a really packed schedule. Our goal is to keep this meeting under an hour. So let's get going. Recording of this meeting will be posted after the meeting, so if you come in late, people will still be able to watch. Each working group has 3 to 5 minutes to present what they've been working on this week. A time warning will be given at 4 minutes. No questions will be taken during the presentations, but we have a huge chunk of time at the end to answer any questions that you might have. The open comment period at the end will be giving you about 45 seconds to speak. You'll be given a 15-second warning, and then you'll be cut off at 1 minute. That's just so we can hear everybody's voice. So for new folks, what is this group? How do I get involved? This is what came out of some regional organizers and other volunteer leaders and other volunteers from the Yang 2020 campaign. We are working with Humanity Forward HQ to continue growing this movement. We've got people from all over the country involved, and our goal is to continue harnessing and growing the power of the Yang Gang, new name to be determined tonight, to drive us through 2024 and beyond. Every Sunday we have this call that you're on to get a kind of idea of what's going on in the organization, and to help you get a little bit more involved as well. If you are not on Slack, pop on Slack. It's a great place to get started and get involved with the different working groups you're going to hear from tonight. And if you have more questions, there's a Medium article that you can read that kind of talks about what this movement is all about. So Yenny, are you doing vote for our name? Beautiful. Take it away.
Yes. So we are picking our name tonight. We have 4 different names that have come through the whole process. It started out with 400. It dropped down to like 200 and something once we removed all the duplicates. And then it moved down to a list of 60 or so that met certain criteria. And then that list was whittled down even further. And then we came to the meetings and figured out the different pros and cons for different things. And it was a long process. We've been doing this for over a month now, I believe. And if somebody could copy those links into the chat, that would be wonderful. So the 2 links that we have here for the pros and cons, it is a spreadsheet that has multiple tabs, so you can look at and inform yourselves of every little different thing that goes into picking a name and what pros and cons there are to each of them. And then you go to the SurveyMonkey link to vote. So I hope we will all get to vote on there, and then towards the end of the meeting we'll be closing voting and announcing the name.
Sorry, my mute button was missing. Cool, thank you, Yenny. So I'm excited to have you all vote. Be sure to be an informed voter, read the pros and cons list, and place your vote. At the end of this meeting we'll be announcing, so before the interim board update is when we're going to kind of close out voting, so hop on in there. So we have, moving on to the next section, Brendan, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so we were discussing different ideas for the code of conduct for our volunteers, and in the end we realized it wasn't worth it to remake the wheel, so we largely recycled the last code of conduct that we had during the Yang 2020 campaign. So it's great. Check this out. We're hoping that we can standardize this, people signing this code of conduct for any of our volunteer operations throughout our organization. It is in effect for anything that we're associated with. Not everyone maybe has signed it, but by participating in this organization, you're expected to abide by these rules. So please take a look at it, and also we'll be working on it in the future too if there's anything else that needs to be added to this.
And if I could, just as a reminder, if you do want to provide feedback on the code of conduct, there is a whole feedback channel in the Slack.
That's right.
Yes. Awesome. So working group Grow 10X. Who is speaking for this group?
That's me again. All right.
Continue.
So Grow 10X, hopefully everyone in this meeting right now remembers when Zach and Ethan said that our main goal should be to grow the Yang Gang 10 times by 2024. That's a tall order. You know, not even Bernie Sanders could do that with his movement. By the way, they shrank over 4 years with all of their enthusiasm. So how are we going to grow our movement 10 times over the next 3 years? Well, we are starting to discuss some strategies. Basically, we've called our growth strategy right now the Chapter Out growth strategy. So it's we're focusing on setting up chapters, especially where there aren't active Yang gangs that you know, there's been a little bit of inactivity in some places, in some cities, in some states, and lack of organization. So first, we're going to help those chapters get on their feet, and then we're also going to share best practices between all of the different Yang gangs when it comes to growth. We want to avoid the pitfalls that we experienced in 2019, where there are learnings. We need to adapt them as broadly as possible. So we're still brainstorming. You know, if some people want to like catch up with the conversation that we've had, a big part of the conversation on how we're going to grow that fast in the next 3 years is by looking into deep canvassing, which is a set of techniques that have been developed very recently. It's a very different way of approaching canvassing and outreach that has been proven to be very effective. So if you're interested in this, hop into our Grow 10X channel and come to our next meeting, and we can discuss more strategies and more techniques to make this movement the most effective political movement in American history. See you there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brendan. Diversity, inclusion, and outreach. And then I didn't say this at the beginning, but if you're speaking on behalf of your working group, if you can introduce yourself at the beginning, that'd be awesome. Oh, sorry. Do you want to raise your hand? So
I just fixed the unmute thing.
Awesome. Thanks.
By the way, that was Brendan Carpenter from Arizona. Woo!
Hello, everyone. My name's Kiara. As far as diversity, inclusion, and outreach goes, right now we're currently finalizing details on data storage, cleanup, and presenting the data for the larger survey rollout, as well as finalizing the details on sharing the survey en masse to as many Yang Gang as possible. That's about it so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Organization management and comms.
Hey guys, this is Nicholas Sweinheimer. I have been working with an awesome group called the Task Force, and we've been coming up with a bunch of drafts to sort of overhaul the Slack workspace right now to organize things. In this slide, we've dropped in 4 of our drafts on some of these things. So there's meeting procedures that includes the roles and responsibilities of sort of the facilitator, the host, and co-host and note takers, as well as like how the meetings should ideally progress. We're welcoming all feedback on all of these. These are just drafts. So based on sort of what we've been seeing happening and what's been working across the org. The onboarding draft has been headed by Tab and Catherine. and they'll be able to answer more questions directly about that if you guys want to get in touch with them. But like I said, you can just go check out all these drafts. We've done the Slack channel details protocols. That's basically saying what should go in the topic section as well as the description section. And the org structure draft, which has been done by Tom Jeffrey and Michael A. And that thing is incredible. Highly recommend looking at that one and giving us any feedback that you see there. So I switched to the second part of this first, but the objectives and key results at the top. Sorry, I can go back. The objectives and key results. This is an idea that has been brought up by a few people in the org. OKRs are basically a way to give numerical measurements of progress, and we're looking to draft some initial objectives that we can actually look at. So ideally what they do is allow us to work individually towards a common goal. So it sort of focuses our efforts without having to have someone sit at the top and like direct what's going on. Which is great for this kind of organization because we are incredibly decentralized. Google and IBM have both utilized OKRs to great success. And yeah, so we're working on a draft on this one, which hopefully we'll have to post up next week. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicholas. All right, we are on to tech.
Hey, so we have not met in the last week or so. We need to select a new meeting time. The meeting time that is on here, I need to fix because this is the old link. But we're going to be selecting a new regular weekly meeting time. We have a subgroup that's identifying a volunteer event platform that'll be to replace Mobilize, but that process is still ongoing. Hopefully we'll have some kind of public announcement information about it soon. And then the directory of documents, links at bottom of every slide. There's a lot of information on there. And there's also a lot of different things the tech group has not been working on because we haven't had enough people actually actively attending. So if you have any interest in the technology side of and developing platforms or tools or even just helping run tools, we would love to have you.
Awesome. Sorry, my mute button is being sticky today. Thank you, Yenny. So we are on to candidate support. Is anybody speaking on behalf of candidate support tonight? Or does anybody want to?
Drew.
Drew.
Sure. I'll be happy to jump in. Yeah, so the main focus of candidate support has been with distributed forward, but I'm happy to kind of jump in and help take leadership on the working group for this as well. So as you can see, there's a link in there for to schedule or to put in when times will be best for everyone to meet. As of right now, I know that we know that Andrew has supported Dr. Jermaine Johnson in South Carolina. We're also actively text banking for several other candidates, including Heidi Briones in Oregon, and Blair as well, who's on the call, and David Kim, along with several others. We're hoping to expand that out some more. We also have Income Movement. We are working with them some. They've also endorsed some candidates as well. So that's where we are. We would love for you to join in if you would like, and we will continue to expand this team out so that we can make sure that we have some great candidates and some great criteria to determine those candidates.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew.
You're welcome.
That's going to pop us over to Blair, who is our coalition spotlight for the evening. Before Blair gets started, I just want to talk a little bit about this. If you are a organization that has the same values, or a candidate who is running on UBI and the same values as Andrew Yang had during his campaign, please reach out to the interim board in the feedback channel and let us know. We would love to get some more people in here. But Blair, take it away. Blair, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I forgot to select it to unmute again. You should be able to unmute yourself now. Also, I fixed the links in the slides, so anyone going to the tech or candidate support slides, those are the correct links that are on there now.
Awesome. Blair, go ahead.
Okay, do I have any audio?
Oh, we got you for a second.
Okay, I'm hoping you guys can hear me.
There we go.
I have 2 different internets now, but I'm still struggling to stay connected. So I turned my video off. My audio may stay stable. I really just wanted to say hi and thank you all. You're all really so awesome for keeping the movement going and being so dedicated. And I loved hearing you guys talk about, just growing the Yang Gang. And I think this is how you do it. It's just by being inspirational and actually talking to people. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
Awesome. Blair, do you have a way that we can get people directed towards your campaign to help out with some different volunteer opportunities? Or Ian, if Blair's having internet problems.
Hey, sorry, can you guys still hear me again?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is a struggle for me. We're like desperately trying to get some better quality internet out in the mountainside. It is not easy. Yeah, so we definitely can use volunteers. You can go to blairforcongress.com/volunteer, and there's a pre-checklist that you can fill out, or you can just add your own in if there's something you feel you're really good at. That would be helpful to the campaign. We've been focusing most of our efforts lately on community outreach. Just in case any of you guys don't already follow my page, we did a huge fundraiser where instead of the donator donating to the campaign, we had them double a fundraiser. And we were able to raise our goal, which was $2,000 for 500 meals. And we kicked that butt in one day, and it was supposed to be a 48-hour fundraiser. So we actually bumped it up. We got another $1,000 donated, so our donor matched to $3,000 to make $6,000 for us to buy groceries to give out to the community. So that was just like absolutely wonderful. It made my heart so full to be able to help just so many people and to see the community come together, in this time right now where a lot of us are just kind of.
Oh, snap.
Blair, we lost you.
That
was
was
really
to get some
exciting.
internet out in Mountainside. Like, oh my gosh, let's get Mountainside some internet. Let's go, Yang.
Yeah, she deserves internet. We need to lobby for her.
Yes, we need rural internet a lot. Well, Blair, we really appreciate you. Ian, if you wanted to add anything on before the slot is up, if not, thank you for joining us tonight, Blair. Cool. We'll go ahead and pop on to the next slide. So interim board update. Thank you so much for joining us, Blair. Sorry that your internet came out. I don't know if you can hear me now, but we appreciate you. And thank you for raising so much money for the food bank locally. I think that's really, really awesome. I've been impressed with what Blair has been doing locally to help out during this COVID terribleness that's been going on. It's been really great to see. But from the interim board tonight, we'll have some updates on Humanity Hangs and phone banking, which are our 2 programs we're launching this week coming up now. So that's going to be a really, really exciting way to volunteer directly with Humanity Forward. So far, all of our volunteer opportunities have been adjacent to, like in different, through different organizations. So Humanity Hangs and phone banking are going to be directly with Humanity Forward. So that's pretty awesome. The interim board will be having a short meeting with Andrew Yang next Monday, the 27th, during our regular meeting with Erica, who is our liaison with Humanity Forward. So we have a set of questions that are prepared that we'll be submitting. We will get back to you whether or not that video will be able to be released. We just have to clarify that with Andrew, but I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to share that recording with you all as well. And then a point of clarification on the confidential meeting policy that we launched last week. So recordings of board, we aren't going to be doing recordings of board meetings. We have signed NDAs, so we discussed some things that we're not allowed to discuss publicly. However, our weekly meetings with Erica will be posted. So you'll still hear what we're hearing from Erica. Some of those portions may have to be cut out due to confidentiality, but you will still be able to see what's going on with them. So on to standing weekly meeting times for working groups. I'm not going to go over all of this, but just take a peek. If you heard anything you liked tonight and you wanted to get involved with a certain group, this slide is here for you. You can also go to the calendar channel in Slack, and it has all of this information as well as the Zoom links. And then current volunteer opportunities. I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Brendan.
Yeah, so last week we got our first heads up about these two new initiatives by Humanity Forward, the Humanity Hang Initiative and the COVID Relief Calling Initiative. And we finally rolled out everything that we need to recruit for that. So I hope most people have been following the news already, but just for the recording's sake, the Humanity Hang is an effort to bring people together that are isolated socially, and there's actually going to be like a we've recruited a psychiatrist to sit in some of these meetings, and there's going to be icebreakers, and it's just a way to create community and narrow the distance between all of us. And also it's we're going to be sending invitations out to non-Yang Gang to come into these Humanity Hangs. So it's an outreach opportunity as well as a community health initiative. And so we need moderators to manage the calls and kick people out if they're trolling, or to provide icebreakers and other things. So if that's a skill set that you have, we'd love to have you as a Humanity Hang moderator. We have a Q&A for that tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern time, if you're interested. So that link will be posted out shortly. But fill out this form if you want to be kept in the loop on that. And the COVID relief calling, that's there's 30,000 people that applied for relief. They've lost income from COVID. So we're going to be calling these people, seeing what the real necessity is, and using that information in order to guide how we distribute the micro grants that Humanity Forward wants to give out, and also just to provide some emotional support where it's needed, and show that Humanity Forward is a different type of organization, a different type of movement where every single person counts. And we're going to go out there and show them that we're a movement of compassion, and we're going to bring everyone together and do everything we can to help out during these tough times. These other efforts have kind of gotten some attention, so I won't go into those, but this is just the start. We're going to be rolling out more volunteer opportunities through the Volunteer Opportunities Working Group from here on out, so stay tuned.
Awesome. Thank you, Brendan. I am going to go ahead and call, I know I said earlier that it would be before the interim board slide, but we're going to go ahead and call with voting. I've got a few more details to share with you all on phone banking, and then we will have our name announcement. So phone banking, yay! This isn't going to be your average phone banking situation that's going on. As Brendan said, this is more about connecting and listening and making people feel heard and valued. We know that a lot of people are having financial struggles right now, and that can really lead to an emotional drain too. So we want to reach out, we want to connect with these folks, and we want to make sure that they're feeling welcomed and loved and cared about, because they are important. Phone banking this time, we're also going to do a little bit differently. We are texting all of these applicants before we call them. They will be scheduling a 3-hour time window that works best for them to receive this phone call. So as a phone banker, you're going to actually be connected pretty much every single time. You're not going to be cold calling. These people have signed up to receive a call from you at that time, so they will actually answer the phone. It's going to be really exciting. So if you are interested in joining us, we're going to be rolling out our trainings midweek starting this week. There's a form to fill out. We'll send you an email with the webinar times that we have set up so you can pick what works best for you. For this initiative, we are looking for at least 100 callers. Again, we have 30,000 applicants, so it's a lot of people to talk to. They are going to be really engaging phone calls. It's going to be you having a conversation back and forth. You'll still be provided a conversation guide, but it won't be a super hard and fast like script that you have to go through, because at the end of the day, you are a human calling to connect with another human. So I'm really excited about this initiative. It's been really fun to work on, and I can't wait to see what we're able to do for all of these different people. It's going to be a really exciting thing to do. So fill out that form right there. Can somebody copy and paste that and post it in the chat, so that we are able to get to as many people as humanly possible. So I'm going to close out of my screen. I am going to refresh my screen. And when I oh wait, there's one more slide, and then we have our announcement for the name. Sorry, y'all. Phone banking, go back to presenting. We've got our COVID slide.
I figure I could just share my screen for the announcement.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, so the COVID announcement is, I'm going to turn this over to Chelsea, but the key thing to know is that Congress has trillions of dollars to turn over versus all the other things we're doing. So this lobbying effort is very important. But I'm going to turn it over to Chelsea because she has the data of how we're doing.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Yeah, so the ongoing letter to Congress, it's really neat because I can like see how many representatives and which representatives were sending letters to. And so this week we sent out 1,300, and it reached 394 different representatives. When you go to that link, you'll see that it just says like, I think it says 425, and those are actually like the initial single click by an individual person. So when you do it multiple times, it's not counting that. So that's where you get like the 1,300 number versus like the 400 one you see. And so on Monday, tomorrow, it's going to be a different letter each week. So in this one that I'm working on today, I'm going to include, language talking about the protests that we're seeing and how people, we're seeing a lot of civil unrest because there is no financial support. And then to mention the Tim Ryan and Ro Khanna bill and some other things. And that one, yeah. And so that's the Congress letter writing. I am not sure what the indivisible RAW files is. I've been kind of focused in owning the Letter Congress ongoing project, so if anyone else wants to speak to that. I know we're also working on getting letters to editors and trying to target as many like local press, because a lot of staff aides for Congress members will like kind of keep an eye on that. And so there's a whole spreadsheet of nationwide letter to editor like contacts, like where you'd send that. And Diane, who's in New York, and some other people have like listed some examples that you can just copy and paste. So I can share those things, but that's kind of where Income Movement's at right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chelsea. So drum roll, please. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and it's going to go over to Yenny. We're gonna have a new name.
I am closing the poll. Where do I close? I'm just gonna show the results as are.
Drum roll.
All right, let's, come on, Zoom, open back up. This drum roll is taking forever. I apologize.
Okay. There we go.
Ta-da! We are Humanity First Movement by a good chunk.
Woo! Yeah! Let's go! Humanity First Movement! Yeah!
All right.
We had
We are the
89
movement.
votes. I also have information on where all but 2 of those statewise are, so I'll be putting together a little info thing about where we fell based on what part of the country, which I think might be really cool.
Great.
Awesome.
Fantastic. I've been calling us the Humanity First Movement for like 6 or 8 months now, so this is perfect.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out exactly how we'll have the chapter organization name go. But that's a much smaller decision with an actual name picked. So I am, if anyone is in the graphic design persuasion, I would love some help on figuring out branding and logo. That is what the temp pick our name is going to turn into. It's going to be brand us. Or just branding. I think I'll probably just name it branding. Brand us sounds weird.
Brand us.
So turning it back over to the presentation.
Awesome. Well, that is all we have for presentation wise. Now it is time for open Q&A / comments. So we'll run this through raising your hand. If you do not know how to raise your hand, if you click on the participants button, there should be a little hand so that you can raise it. And then you'll have 45 seconds. After the first 45 seconds, you'll be given a 15-second warning to wrap up. So really, we're just looking for like 1-minute comments or questions. If there's a back and forth required, we'll let that fly. But let's get going if anybody wants to raise their hand.
Hey, Brenna, this is Eileen. I don't see any hand raises yet in the participants. I'm sure some will come. Oh, like say Richard Massey. I hate Massey. Sorry, Massey came up. But I'm wondering if we could also give preferential treatment to those that we haven't maybe heard from a lot. I see a lot of familiar names, but there are a few names in here from people who I haven't ever heard from before. So maybe to give like those newcomers a chance to speak.
For sure. We will start with Richard because he's the only hand still. I'm going to unmute you.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So yeah, excited. Just had, from what I'd heard, I hadn't been involved with the pick our name. Just had so many things going on besides quick vote. I had just heard, and someone correct me if I'm wrong or there's more knowledge on this, but the HQ and the general movement had to change the name from Humanity First to Humanity Forward due to a cease and desist from another a not-for-profit organization. So I just was wondering sort of what was the response and thoughts about if we ended up getting a cease and desist on that as well, just because it falls under an existing not-for-profit's name. So that's just my general question.
So in terms of the Humanity First being an organization that has been around a while and they're doing fantastic work, Humanity First Movement as a name would be considered completely and utterly separate in the in eyes of whatchamacallit, copyright law.
And we've had lawyers like sign that off and say that is
That
true.
that is from personal experience starting 3 different businesses and 4 nonprofits where I've had to go through that.
Okay, all right.
Robert, your hand was up. It disappeared. Oh, there you are. I'm unmuting you. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, hi everyone. I'm Robert. I guess I was a part of the pick the name group. I don't know what we're calling us, but yeah, I guess that was a good question. I think it was on the lines of that. I think Humanity First movement is probably pretty good in that it separates us enough from the current Humanity Forward, though it's definitely related to Andrew Yang's the shirts and the branding and the messages. So yeah, I think that's great. I was a little concerned about certain organizational stuff, but I think there seems to be organizational a chat or a work group that I'm interested.
15-second warning.
Good to go. That's it.
Yeah. Feel free to join us. We meet every week.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we've got Michael, and then we have Angelo after that.
Okay, so can you hear me? Okay, so I was just question for anybody. Do we have any progress or any discussion as far as what type of organization we are? Is it a nonprofit or something different? And then also, is there any discussion about like the regional, how regions are going to be set up as what type of organization for regions?
Does anybody want to take this question? I am not the best person to field this one.
I feel like, yeah, either Brendan or I could go. It's a question. I think, yeah, that's still being discussed. It's a working groups question. There's lots of different working groups, so this is overlapping in, I would say, regional organizing. I mean, you're in them, Michael, where I feel like in the OMC and other structures where we're still finding it out. Is it possible, I don't know, get Brendan and other board members to weigh in here, is it possible that we are leaning towards becoming a chapter of Humanity Forward? I don't know. I don't even know that that's something that we've decided.
So yeah, there are going to be conversations with Erica and perhaps even other staff of Humanity Forward to determine this. We have heard from Erica that she wants a chapter model with chapters representing cities or states, and that they can be independent nonprofits. I'm actually the new president of Humanity Forward Arizona. We're chartering tomorrow on 420. And we're hoping that we've done all of our homework enough that we can just get signed off and just be made into a chapter immediately with Erica. So there is that option that seems to be on the table. I can't say definitively how that's going to go, but everything I've heard from Erica has been great. As far as like what the legal classification of Humanity First movement will be, that's to be determined. It's clear that Humanity Forward sees us as their main volunteer organization, and so we're really looking at a strong partnership. Not necessarily them over us, but like partners, equal partners in our movement. I'm forgetting, was there another question you asked? I didn't clarify.
No, yeah, that's all good.
Well, regional organizing, that's it. So we haven't determined a regional map yet, but Erica has said that she wants to meet with a board that's representative of all the regions. So we're likely going to be moving towards some form of regional representation that meets with her.
Hey, Brenna, point of clarity, for people's 45 seconds to 60 seconds speaking, does that also count for responses, and how many responses are we taking?
I mean, right now we're really doing great on time. We still have 28 minutes left in this meeting, and we've got 2 hands. So cool. I would say it's fine right now. I want to make sure people's questions are answered completely, but we'll just try and keep those answers as tight as possible.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. So we have 3 hands now. So Angelo, Catherine, and then Robert.
All right, thank you. It's not really a question so much as a comment. You'd mentioned on branding, I love the name Humanity Forward Movement because it allows us to really brand the Humanity Forward idea that we all follow. So it makes that a lot more simple when people want to join. They know, okay, you're following the Humanity First ideals. So Humanity First Movement, Humanity First, doctrine.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Catherine, you're up.
Catherine, did you want to drop it? It looks like you said that, so we'll go to Robert, and then if you want to go, you can go after Robert.
Oh, there you go. Hey, so I just wanted to, I guess, comment on what Brendan said about the chapter. So I think did everyone see? I think Kim D posted something about the legal structure, and then it's important to kind of have somewhat of a balance because if we're specifically a part of that national organization, it could be good in that they can completely control the chapters, but then if the chapters were to do or say something that would cause legal problems, it could then risk the national organization as far as liability and such. But then, you know, so there are various ways to structure nonprofit organizations and such like us. So it's probably important to see exactly, do we have a recommendation from that, you know, the big Humanity Forward as far as what kind of legal structure? I guess this goes out to anyone who, I guess, who speaks to them the most.
So this is something that's been discussed with the board. We need to find out more about what Humanity Forward is planning on. They're coming down the pipe with a couple of different things, and then we also need to do some research and looking into the other aspects of being an organization to see what our steps are based on different options going forward in terms of legal and financial structure.
And just to piggyback off that, I just want to be clear that there is a difference between like the national organization, Humanity Forward movement that we just became, and then like chapters that will inevitably come up, like Arizona is moving forward with their chapter. And we're expecting, according to Erica, that in mid-May, an official like chapter offer will be put forward by Humanity Forward so that local groups, local Yang gangs can try to chapter themselves with Humanity Forward. And that is outside, technically, really right now, of Humanity Forward movement.
Humanity First movement, but yes.
We're off to a great start.
I saw that you had a check mark. Was that you raising your hand? If so, you're next, and then Catherine after that. No, Gray? Cool. Catherine, go ahead, and then Rachel's after that.
Yeah, related to that conversation, so there's several different models, and there's going to be like a meeting with Humanity Forward, Erica McLeod, to talk about it, and then they're going to present to us like, this is kind of the legal structure we're going to recommend and send to our lawyers, but then they're going to give it to us first to kind of see if there's anything we like or don't like about it before they send it off to their lawyers. So there's like a couple more meetings and information that's coming down to the pike to us in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. Rachel, you are up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Davies. I'm with the Atlanta Yang Gang. We've also started calling ourselves the Atlanta UBI Project. And we're looking into the possibility of starting our own local nonprofit. I was wondering if you guys know if that's going to create any obstacles for us in becoming a chapter, either of Humanity Forward or of Humanity First movement, or where we are with all of that.
No, we specifically asked the question, and Erica did specifically answer that completely formed legal entities will have a path to chaptering with them. So I don't know what that path looks like, and I don't know that they know what that path looks like, but that they have said that existing nonprofits will have an opportunity to become chapters.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to add to that, since you guys are already making progress on that front, we'd like to invite a representative to speak with Erica. She's scheduling out meetings in the next couple weeks different chapter representatives. So would you be the best person to contact for?
Maybe me, maybe one of our other members. I'll ask in my group. But
Yeah, have
yeah.
a discussion with them, and reach out to the board or post in the board
Okay.
feedback channel, and we'll set that up.
Okay, great.
Good night, Blair. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Blair. Sorry about the internet problems. All right, I don't see any other hands. Does anybody want to put their hand up? Do we have any comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, feelings? My feeling is, oh my gosh, guys, we did this in 45 minutes. We have a new name. I am so proud of everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I see
Good
Angelo
mom.
put his hand up.
Oh, Angelo, hand up. We'll allow it.
All right, so I just wanted to comment on the whole chapter thing. I'm just glad that this thing is finally taking shape. We're finally getting this moving in a positive direction where we're starting to look like a real solid network again. And I also wanted to give out a shout out to Brendan. He has been amazing here in Arizona. And to Eileen, she's actually been the first to reach out to us. We've had a couple of joint meetings, hope to have more in the future.
Oh,
And,
May 1st,
and-
Southwest Region meeting. May 1st, Southwest. Let's go.
That's right.
May 1st, let's do it. All right. So yeah, I'm just hoping that we can actually start reaching out to other states and just start having like joint meetings on Zoom where we can share ideas and get things going.
Awesome.
That's the plan. Thanks, Angelo. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you, Angelo.
Angelo, if you want to help with that, that's a great thing for the regional organizing. Yes, we can change the Slack name now.
Awesome. So is it Massey or is it Richard? I think it's Massey, right?
It's Massey, then Ray.
Okay.
Let's go, Massey. Unmute. Let's go.
There we go. I was waiting. I was kept clicking. It said wait for the host. I was like, all right. Yeah. So I need to change my Zoom name in here. I think I connected with Facebook. Just a general question being from the OMC org management structure and communications. Part of our is sort of structural organizing, and we've talked about different ways to do it between organizers, volunteers, and what was the third category? Not important, but people who support the supporters versus other different things. But ultimately, a big part of the org is going to be the regional, which boils down to state and local level organization. But how do we see, or have we talked about sort of the work that OMC has done and other sort of management style groups, mission and vision, on how they are going to play a role with Humanity Forward HQ and versus, there's chapters of organizing versus ours. Are those going to be the same thing? I'm just wondering sort of if there's any been thoughts just from the board on that.
Bro, what are you trying to open up in this meeting, bro? Like that you just opened a freaking 45-minute hour conversation. That is huge. That is a huge conversation. I appreciate it though.
Right. Any quick thoughts?
Someone wants to yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that I love the idea of the task force and everything that you guys have been doing. I think it's been underappreciated, really, how much this can help us with efficiency going forward. I've had just a hands-off kind of perspective. I trust you guys. I think every time I check in on what you guys are doing, it seems productive. Does anyone else on the board have maybe a more direct response?
It's not a big deal. It's just a curiosity.
No, I appreciate the question. Like I said, I just think it's a lot to unpack. And so I would think, to try and be as succinct as possible, what I would say is that I think that our movement has really done a great job of being as inclusive as possible, and that the work is being done by the people who show up. And that I think a lot of respect needs to be given to the process, because we're doing such a good job of trying to really put a thought and intent into our process. And so I trust the process. Like Brendan is saying, I am a part of that process, and anybody in the country who wants to be a part of that process can be a part of that process. And so if you want to be, great, get to work. And if you don't, please trust that we are doing our best and that you know what I mean? We're being as intentional as possible, and we can always make edits and we can always improve. So yeah, like let's just work together and like be as productive and efficient as possible.
Awesome. Ray, take us home.
All right, all right. So right now, I believe Congress is on recess until May 4, and it is not often the easiest thing to do is also the most effective. I put it already in the chat, but everybody please, if you can, text UBI to 50409, and it sends 3 quick letters to all your representatives in Congress. It's a letter written up by Scott Santens himself, and it's already getting a lot of friction, catching a lot of Congress people already like it, but you send these letters out, more people will like it. Hopefully when they come back in session, we can get phase 4 for the people. We the people.
Trickle up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
To the quick question Joyce has, instead of me typing it out since we're pretty much done, there are a bunch of different ways to do this by computer. There are a number of different links that are identified through the COVID response channel. That's where a lot of the emergency UBI discussions have been happening. I don't have those links on hand. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Catherine. You're always so perfect at that, Catherine. I love you.
So clutch. Catherine is clutch. She is so money. Oh my God.
Over time, I only think more and more that she's part robot.
Her and Andrew Yang both, right?
So does anyone else have anything, or are we closing up the meeting 5 minutes early?
Oh my goodness. So great. I love you guys so much.
Yeah, Yang Gang love. I mean, Humanity First Movement love.
It's Humanity First movement, not Humanity Forward movement.
Yeah, it's first.
I like that better. Okay, cool. I like it. It's great. I love it.
Back to the basics, Eileen.
I can't create a
First
hand.
movement. Let's go. Let's go. Humanity First movement. Let's go.
Woo! Humanity, save humanity. We are it. It's us versus all of the destructive forces.
I love you guys. Let's go. Make it so. Engage. Let's go. Boldly go.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go. Yang gang. Let's go.
Let's boldly go where we should have gone a long time ago.
That's right.
Oh, we've got lots of hands now. Angela, Robert, Michael.
I see how it is.
All right, so this one's off topic, but I'm going to do a shameless plug here. We are organizing to actually get the Yang Gang in front of Congress. I would like a board member to join our next meeting. It's going to be on Tuesday at 1 a.m. Arizona time on Zoom.
Tuesday, 1 a.m.?
I'll fucking be there. Tuesday, 1 a.m. Let's go. That's only 3 over here.
1 p.m. Tuesday, 1 p.m. Arizona time, which would be like 3 o'clock Eastern time.
And what is this group?
It is to get the Yang Gang, speaker of representative group of speakers in front of Congress, where myself and Hanawana are already pulling strings with political allies that we have to be able to get us to testify before Congress. So we're working on getting that invite.
Elaine said Yang Gang goes to Congress. It's the channel.
Yep. So next meeting, I would like someone from the board there. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to bring them up.
Awesome. Thank you. Robert, then Michael, then Chelsea.
Hey, okay, so this may have already been addressed, but yeah, I understand the cease and desist letter to the first Humanity First, issue, but this Humanity First movement, maybe we can try to preempt the, the reservations. Has anyone ever tried to kind of reach out to the, I think it's a European humanitarian nonprofit that owns that, and maybe like, hey, you know, we're just trying to, you know, it's this grassroots movement, and hopefully we don't try to butt heads, but you know, we like what they do, and just as a contact, so maybe they can just kind of like low key, kind of, if they have any complaints, to like talk to one of us first before like cease and desist. Although you know, I trust Jenny, you know, and that it's perfectly fine. It's probably perfectly fine that we use the similar name, but you
No,
know,
that's
just cover our bases, you know.
That's a great idea, Robert. I made a note. We got that. Thank you. Great note.
All right. So, other Chelsea put her hand down. I had a fun way of announcing the order of people, but Michael and then Chelsea.
Okay, so can we have maybe like cheers or something? I mean, it's just kind of off topic, but like for these meetings, just like get something together where we can all rally. I don't even know.
Yes, fuck yeah, like a house party at party night. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
A second.
So you cheers with your glass, and I love that. But I'm also like, I don't know if I like cheers as in like
chants, like what we
like
say.
chant, yeah, like
slogan.
chants.
A secret handshake.
I think that might fall under branding. Yeah, but yeah. I'm down.
A secret handshake.
Yeah, secret handshakes. I'm all about
We're
that.
all down. Make it happen. Put together a meeting. We're all down. Just send us an invite. I'll be there. I'll bring my posse. Let's go.
All right, Chelsea, you are up.
Hey, so I just had kind of like a dorky thing to say, but today they were like thinking about the Yang Gang and how we're all, you know, like very diverse. It made me think of just like kind of like a coral reef, and like thinking about the span of what we're growing right now, and how like there are the Republicans, you know, or like Trumper for Yang people, and they're like, you know, one kind of schoolfish, and then we have like slack, which is like our, I don't know, like coral reef part. And I don't know, I just think that we're like really building this like unique coalition, and yeah,
like a coral reef, like we're building a coral reef. Okay, Chels, I'm there for it. I fuck with that. Let's go. Okay, let's build a coral reef.
I support metaphors.
I think Alina's running out of voice.
Fish. I want to be the puffer fish.
I want to be the tiger shark and Joe Exotic's like aquarium. Like,
Awesome. Well, it is 6:30, so I'm adjourning the meeting, the official meeting. If y'all want to hang out and chit chat, by all means, do it. I love you. I'm gonna go make dinner.
see ya.
Farewell.